All right,
Hello,
cool.
good sir.
How's it going?
Good, you?
Good. All right, spinning and winning with DJ Skeelow and DJ Matt Dodge. So I want to bring you on because I want to pick your brain a lot about creativity, which we're going to go into. I know you've done a lot of DJ battles. First off, go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit and let people know who you are.
Yeah. My name is Matt Dodge. That's my born legal name. So DJ Matt Dodge. It's very simple to
So
go.
that wasn't too hard to find
No,
a DJ
no, no.
name.
I
All
used
right,
to.
cool.
Not a lot of people know this. I used to go by DJ Mapu. I don't think I've told a lot of people that.
That-
Mapu. It was a nickname in high school.
I think you might have mentioned this once to
Matthew.
me.
It was a friend I know. His name was Matthew. When he was younger, he couldn't say it, so he said Mapu instead of Matthew. So they
Okay.
called me Mapu. My friends of mine. So
How
like
long did that
for
last?
like a year. And
A
then I was
year?
like, yeah, it's not gonna work. Mapu is gonna be my poo or something. Yeah. So I still have old mixes where I made a DJ drop that said DJ Mapu like in it. I still have those. So, but yeah. I grew up in pretty much Venice, Florida. I was born in Maine, but we moved down when I was 5, so I pretty much grew up around here.
So you're pretty much a Floridian.
Pretty
through and
much,
through,
yeah. And I moved up to Tampa about right after COVID, so 3 or 4 years now. So,
Dang.
yeah, I got a beautiful wife. I got a beautiful daughter, 6, and a beautiful little baby boy, French bulldog.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So got it all, man.
got it all.
Can't ask for a better life
Yeah.
than that. So I got my questions right here in my handy dandy little iPhone. So I guess we'll start off with who you represent and what places people can find you at.
Yeah. So I work, most of my stuff's through a company called Street Lace Marketing Promotions. I would say maybe 90% of the stuff I get through them. Anything else is like referrals or word of mouth or, heard me somewhere else. My only real like resident gig I would say is on Fridays, and that's at McDitton's in Soho.
Yeah.
College type bar, sing along, stuff like that. And then when sports come up, USF, I do men's basketball, women's basketball, football at Raymond James. I'm going to be doing volleyball for the first time this year. And then I fill in for the Rays here and there. So
Right.
that, as far as,
And the
then
Lightning, you've done Lightning
I
too.
do
yeah.
Lightning pregame, stuff like that, in game a couple times. But so yeah, so pretty much all around Tampa, aquarium here and there, different things.
The aquarium's fun. I
It
can
is
vouch
fun.
for that.
Yeah, yeah.
How long have you been DJing?
So it's kind of a two-parter. I always say I say I've been DJing for about 10 years,
Okay.
but the first 6 years was once a week. This guy Jimmy O, he still lives up in Tampa here. He kind of brought me on, let me kind of show me the ropes, so to speak. Tough love, I call it. Every week he would joke with me. Oh, you're playing that this early? It's not even 12 yet, man. So it definitely
Go
helped
hard or
me.
go home.
It definitely helped me, like learn different things. Like
Yeah.
oh, 2 Pitbull songs back to back. Like he always would give me tough
Run the whole
love.
set.
So yeah, so it was fun. So I did that for about 5 or 6 years. Literally, I had a full-time job, and that was once a week. Friday nights we would do back-to-back 30-minute sets.
Yeah.
Every Friday. So and then pretty much after COVID, I was working in a restaurant, and then no one was working. So that's when I kind of, all right, I guess it's now or never. So
Yeah.
I kind of went full time, so to speak. Then so yeah.
When during COVID, were you doing any type of streaming or anything like that?
I did do Twitch for a little bit, and
Okay.
then since everybody knows how crazy Florida is, we opened up kind of before everybody else.
Mhm.
So
True.
I kind of stopped doing that. I wish I would have kept it up a little bit. I see all these guys that I've met, through Twitch, still to this day doing it, up
Doing
in
it.
Canada or New York, and they're, you can make money doing it now.
Yeah, especially
know.
when you stay consistent. I've noticed that there's certain people, they amass such a good following, but it's one of those things where you just can't really take a long of a break, or you kind of lose a little bit of
Exactly.
that
And it was
draw.
cool to go on and, be creative and just kind of do whatever, because it's, at the time you're not getting paid, listen, this is what I'm doing if you like it, if,
Right.
whatever. So, and, it was a really good community. I definitely met a lot of DJs on there that I still talk to this day. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
So DJing for 10 years, what was the thing that made you like pull the trigger, like make you want to be a DJ, or how you, like the first gig you might have started, or what was it that kind of like drew you into that?
So, like I said, it was the Off the Wagon was kind of where I first started DJing, like I said, like an actual like event. But I would say it goes back to when I was in even high school, like in college. Like I went to school for film. I have a degree in film production. I
Comes
used
in
to
handy.
love the editing. Yeah, I used to love doing the video editing.
Yeah.
So
Well, when we're done with this, then I'll definitely
Yeah,
hit you
yeah,
up
yeah,
with some
yeah.
pointers on it. Yeah.
I wish I would. I joke all the time that I have all these cameras and I don't do content myself. I should. I love doing it. But that's kind of what got me into doing the DJing. Is back then it was really easy to get acapellas. You could just from websites you can get them. You can still get them now, but not as readily. But I would just sit there in Sony Vegas, which is a video editing program, and I would just build for like weeks just an hour. It ended up being like hour-long mashups. I still have them. Like 2008, I think is one of them. It says 2008 Mega Mix, and it's just instrumental acapella instrument, and it just blends, and there's movie quotes and stuff. And I used to listen to like the Rocket Scientists back there in California, and there's another guy, Girl Talk from Pittsburgh, and just the mashup. Like I always loved that.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of, it wasn't even on my radar like to be a DJ. I don't even know what got me into doing like the mashups. I really have no idea. I just
And I think this is
enjoy
actually
doing it.
super important, this part right here, because when we get into talking about DJ battles and creativity and stuff like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
like people will see like this is kind of where it stemmed from,
Yeah.
as far as where your mind goes. Because I tell people all the time, like one of the most creative DJs in this area, especially when it comes to wordplay or just creative ideas, is DJ Matt Dodge.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah.
And 100%.
So
like,
that was, like I said, it was something I enjoyed doing. I loved the editing, so I would sit there. I can't even remember. It's been so long, and like I said, like I mean, technically that was almost 20 years ago, but I wasn't DJing then. I was just editing. I don't even know editing videos, and then stopped to do this. I would just go back every day and just add a little bit. I'd find an instrumental and acapella, and they're probably not on key at all, or they probably clash. But sometimes I'll go back and listen. I'm like, it's really not bad for not having no idea about
right,
any of
just
that
jumping
stuff.
right into it.
So, but yeah, that's kind of where I got started, and then I started doing it, like I said, once a week, and then, yeah.
Well, I know I mentioned a few times about DJ battles,
Yeah.
and go ahead and run through what DJ battles have you participated in, and what did you rank in each of those battles?
Okay, so I started, first one was during COVID. It was an online DJ battle. Nick Spinelli, Chi-Town Shaney from Chicago. There was a couple, Ben Stowe from the NFLX. They do like the all the DJ gear. They were the judges.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
oh, that's
so
wild.
and I won first place on that one. I have a little trophy.
Do you have it up on like a pedestal or anything like that,
no,
or a shelf or anything
yeah,
like that?
there's like an art light. No. It's there. But yeah, that was the first one I did. And then I did two in Daytona. The first one, I came in second both times. I lost to Kevin Kahn, which if you know him, there's no shame in losing to Kevin Kahn.
Right.
And the second time was DJ Philo, who now is Chris Cutts, who again, DMC.
Philo.
He's
Yeah.
I joke that he's my arch nemesis. We talk all the time, man. He's a good guy. He's insane, technical. He won. He did. Dua Lipa did a full 180 and literally turned around with his shoulder blades and was going back and forth.
Wow, dude,
Yeah.
that's
So,
next
but the
level.
Daytona ones were fun. They haven't done one in a while, but my wife still talks about the second one because there was, no joke, probably 16 or 18 DJs. So she came with all day. She sat there like a champ. I got second
Oh
place,
my
but it was
gosh.
all day long. It was fun,
Wow.
And then after that, I did, let's see. There was one here in Tampa. I won. It was the Show Bar. Started at Show Bar, ended at Park and Rec. Seraphin and Grody put that on. I won that. That was here in Tampa. And then Chicago were the other two ones I did. It was there's a DJ conference called Marquee, and the first year I went last year, I won. This year, runner up. So.
Got you.
But yeah.
Did some have videos in it as
So
well?
yeah, so the one in Daytona, I had a screen in the front, and I literally came up with all the.
Did each DJ have a video thing, or was this
No,
just you?
it was
Okay,
just
because I
me.
think I remember
And-
we were talking about this.
And yeah, and I did that for Show Bar too, and I honestly think that maybe not that it wasn't fair. I mean, that was just how I did it, and it added to it. But if there was a question whether that's why, like I didn't have one in Chicago and I won, so it's something like that where again it's the creativeness,
Right.
like in the one in Show Bar, I video recorded myself with two different shirts on, one green, one white. I had a beard in one, I had nothing in the, and one was like the devil, one was the good guy, just talking crap, and it was also a good way to split up. Where I have a bunch of songs in a row and then I don't know where to go. Now I can just cut to a video. So it was kind of like a quick cheat. If I didn't have something to go into, I would just cut to a video of me talking.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's all creative because I'm not a big technical guy.
I mean, this is a lot of ideas that you put into these small time frames for battles. How do you prepare for something of like this in this element?
So I hate to say that it's procrastination, but a lot of times it is. It's even my wife knows. Like sometimes you just get, and I think it's the same with anything, even with DJing. Sometimes you get creative spurts, and sometimes you just don't. Sometimes I'm like, I can't even think of anything now, so I don't do anything. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, I got a ton of ideas flowing. I'll type them in my phone. But as far as preparing, I just kind of get groups of stuff together that I think works, and then I make Post-it notes, kind of put it on the wall, and then I figure out ways to kind of put them together. is really the easiest
almost like
way
a
to explain
storyboard.
it, kind of, yeah. And I would say the biggest trick that I do, so to speak, is I never touch the tempo,
Okay.
the fader at all when I'm doing it, unless it's like a specific, like I'm going from like 100 to 80 and I'm doing that and then, doing some sort of tone play with it. Other than that, I'll make like a cluster of songs at like 100 and knock those out. And then I will make a transition either in Serato, I'll record it and just do it live and then use it,
Right.
going from like 100 to 120. And then now I'm here and I got a bunch of songs at 120.
But it's good to already have that ahead of time because in the
Yeah.
middle of the battle, like trying to pull all this stuff
Exactly.
off is kind of
And the
almost
other
next level
reason why I
impossible.
kind of say it's, I think it's okay that I do that, whether you want to say that's, not cheating, but like, it's hard to switch the tempo every time. But I'm also mixing 50, 60 songs in 15 minutes, so something's got to give somewhere.
lot.
I got to, if
Right.
I miss one, they're all like 20 seconds long, 15, 20 seconds long. So if I miss one, I'm done. So doing that and adjusting the tempo a few every time, it's not possible.
So in a 15-minute
something's
set, you
gotta-
do about like 50 to 60 songs.
Yeah.
So what would you say in a regular set that's outside of a DJ battle? How many songs a night would you play?
I'd say maybe like 300. I can't think. I'd have to look.
I feel like
a
you counted
4-hour
yourself
set.
at one time. Like I think you
Yeah,
at one
because
time
you
mentioned
can
it
look
was,
after it and
Yeah.
see, and it's I mean, and sometimes I've been being more conscious about it later or more recently when I'm doing like an all ages event or like even like the hard rock. I'll do the hard rock and it's like, all right, maybe let these songs play a little bit more. But then, sometimes you've done the hard rock too. When you're at the Hard Rock Cafe and everybody's watching you
Right there, yeah.
You're like, all right, I don't want to let the song play for 2 minutes because they're
Right,
I feel
you're-
like they're
you're an
watching me,
entertainer,
they're
too.
expecting something.
Yeah.
So then I feel like I got to do more sometimes. But I've tried to, sometimes the people will be like, all right, oh, I was just getting into that. I'm like, all right, so I got to try to be more.
Feel it out, like feel the
Yeah.
crowd out, which I've noticed like when you get in the rhythm of quick mixing and then like carrying it in different scenarios. Obviously, it works in some places, nightclubs and so forth, and other places like weddings and certain things you want to have it like drawn out.
Yeah.
But what I feel like is missed out in a lot of scenarios is the entertainment perspective of we are entertainers. So
Yeah.
like right there at the Hard Rock and everyone's watching you. If you're just standing there and you're just barely going from song to song, it gets kind of boring. Like people are
Yeah.
kind of taking that energy. But if you're putting your all into it and you're quick mixing and doing this and doing that,
Yeah, yeah.
you're entertaining to the fullest.
Oh yeah, and that's the other thing. Like I think about that a lot. Not even just like a place like Hard Rock, where clearly they're all facing you. They see someone setting up, and then what? You hit play and you play Uptown Funk for 3 minutes, and then oh okay, like it's
Right.
like not that you need to have some sort of spectacle at the beginning, but it's just
Yeah.
kind of like I feel like anytime you're setting up somewhere and you're drawing attention to yourself, they're like, all right, what's this guy gonna do?
Yeah.
Like you got do a little bit more than just.
It's almost a journey. Like you're actually
Yeah.
telling a story literally. Like you are a musician at that point. Like
Yeah.
you are playing it as an instrument.
Yeah.
Um,
But I'm always thinking about that with the battle stuff. So I think that kind of dips over into my regular stuff. Like I have, anytime I do the battles, like I like the one in Chicago I did last year, I won that one, and people remember that, and there's video online of it. So like I can't do any of that stuff this year in Chicago or a month ago when I did.
gotta
I had to
scrap
come up with
it
a
and
whole new
start
thing.
fresh.
Like I'm doing one in Orlando. It's next month. It's just me against just some guy at the DJ battle. But it's same thing. Like luckily, I had the video of Chicago's last time, which is a whole new set, and the only people that were in Chicago saw it. Like I'm not trying to, but I now I can use any of that.
Right.
Even the stuff I did in Tampa. I doubt maybe Dez from the DJ plug, shout out Dez. Maybe
Yeah.
he'll be in Orlando, but besides that, I can do some of that Tampa stuff. So I try to think of that. Like, not that I don't want to come up with new stuff all the time, but
But the more battles and the more material you get, the
Just
more of a
in
selection you
general,
have
yeah.
that you could just pick and choose like what it is that you want to take
and,
from.
not that I want to play the same thing every time, but again, like I went through all this work to come up with this whole set, and then to play it once,
Yeah.
it's kind of like, all right, But again, not that I want to keep doing it, but it's
When you
like
have a great idea, you have a great
in
idea.
there, yeah.
That's like a
So-
blend. Like if I find a really like two songs that really play well together, I won't overplay them, but I'll definitely use them from set to set, at my discretion.
Yeah.
Which brings us to our next little segment about music organization.
Yes.
So for creativity, you are a master, but you are also a master when it comes to like music organization. And I feel like you have your own rhyme and reason to what you do. And I
Yeah.
know you're mentioning about doing your own class, an online class to actually show other DJs on how to go about different ideas and ways of going about music organization, because I know it's very personal to each person and how
for
they
sure.
in their brain map things out in their
Yeah.
crates and so forth. But do you want to kind of touch base on that?
Yeah, I think a lot of people think like, like when there's a DJ behind him, like what are they gonna, if you think a song is hip hop and I think it's something totally different, like put what you think, put what makes sense to you, how you're gonna find it. That's really what it is. Who cares if anybody else thinks
Right.
what that genre is or if or whatever. Like, I take out any of the nonsense that's in the titles. Club Killer's intro, DeVille, whatever, blah, blah, blah. There's spaces for all that within all the tags. If there's a remixer tab, you can put DeVille. Nothing against anybody or DeVille or anybody. I'm not trying to take away from them. I don't need to know who made that remix. I have the regular song. I have 1 or 2 remixes, and those are ones that I deemed are great remixes. So I don't have 10 of them and then go, oh, I like the DeVille one. I have a remix. I know it's a remix. It doesn't matter to me who made it. No one, again, it's never come up. Like, if someone asks me, I can look in the song title. Like, I'm not trying to hide or like take credit for anybody's
Right, and you actually
remixes.
put in like the title or in the tag, like for example, remix. I believe you put like R.
I put R, yeah, just so
Yeah.
I know it's a remix. I'll put
Right.
M for mashup, and then in the comments I'll put what song it's mashed up with. So like I'll put like this is how we do it beat, and then at any time I can type in this is how we do it. I'll see the original song, and then I'll see any songs that have that beat in it as well. But again, I don't have this is how we do it, CK intro, 98 BPM, the key. I don't need any of that stuff.
Right.
And then I'll color code stuff so it's, it's either clean or dirty, doing the sports stuff, doing all ages events. Like, I need to know what's clean and dirty. So that's what I use the colors for that are on the actual song itself. But yeah, no, I did do a class during COVID, like 20 people. Just I kind of went through how I do stuff, and I got some good feedback. It's just I've gone through every possible music organization video on YouTube just to see how to do it.
Yeah.
And everything that I've come up with, I've grabbed stuff from here, grabbed stuff from there, but I still feel like I have, and again, I'm not trying to get rich on it, like I feel like I have stuff that other people haven't talked about or done.
Right.
So, and I think
And it's
would
good to
help
see what other people are saying, to see what's missed and what what was hit on and so forth.
So the idea is, maybe like January, I'm going to a DJ conference in December, Harvest the Sound in Boston. I'm going to be doing my first seminar, like an hour-long seminar. Where I'm going to come up with an actual like presentation and teach it all. And then hopefully that will roll into like a class that I can, have like online where they have modules.
Are you going to have like a PowerPoint, or how are you going to play that one?
I think I have a PowerPoint, with a thing.
Old school, I love that.
So we'll see, but I mean that would be like the start of, okay, now I have an online class, where you can go and there's modules where like, okay, step 1, like this is, how to, the color codes, or like how to tag, the metadata so you can find stuff. Like a quick thing is like, so I forget who I got this from, but they would say like you put hashtags on stuff. So hashtag birthday. I always use this as an example. If someone comes up and says my birthday, In the Club by 50 Cent is a good birthday song.
Absolutely. 100%.
But if you type in birthday, you're never going to get In the Club.
No.
So if I put In the Club, I put hashtag birthday. When I type in hashtag birthday, that comes up as an option. So essentially, it's the same thing with sing-alongs. I'll put hashtag sing.
So put those hashtags you use.
You put them in the song. Otherwise, so if I put hashtag sing, the only thing that's going to come up is every song that I put hashtag sing in. So there's no, I mean, there are like tips and tricks to get stuff done, like batch stuff, but you really got to go through your music.
Right.
I hate, part of the presentation
tedious,
I want to do is like at the very beginning when I do it, I want to be like the one secret trick, and then just go to like a blank page and be like, there isn't, like as a cheesy, like there isn't one. You gotta go through your music. Like if people come up to me and ask me for a song, I listen. I go, I've never heard that song. I'll be nice. I'll be like, I've never heard that song, so I don't have it. If I haven't heard the song, I know what's in my library.
You know what you have and what you don't have.
I've never heard of it. There's no way I have it. Like I wouldn't, Or,
I'm the same way.
Or I do know that song and I know I don't have it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Which is crazy because we have so much music. People are like, they'll kind of give you a look like, really? Like
Yeah.
you, and like, no, like I know for sure that's one that I just don't have. Or
I
like
know.
you have.
I know it. I chose not to get
Yeah.
it. Sorry.
Or I haven't. I just don't want to play it. I'm telling you
Exactly.
this. There's always that go-to.
Oh, you waited till I got to 130. Now you want 70. Gotcha. Yeah. Give me a few.
Yeah.
Let me. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me give me a little bit to go there because a lot of people have expectations about like, when I put a request in, it's going to happen soon.
Yeah.
And that's just not how things work, especially like I said, you're going on a journey, you're trying to tell a story.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's not to say for all DJs. Like some people are just there to party rock or do whatever, but some of us are just creatively in it, what I call the zone. Like once you get in a zone, like one song pops in your head, you know, another one will go with it, and then it just kind of is like a domino effect,
Yeah.
and it takes you down this path where that's what I call it. I'm like I'm in the zone, but I can easily be taken out of the zone
Yeah.
by request,
Sure.
and then my brain goes somewhere else, which is sometimes in a good
Yeah.
thing, because if I'm used to playing the same music over and over again, and maybe there's a different type of clientele there or a different type of people or whoever, and they give me a request, I'm like, I know where to go from here. Like
Yeah.
I kind of have an idea, and it takes me on a whole nother path that was probably better than where I was going to go anyways.
And a lot of
So it
times,
has a good pros and cons.
oh yeah, and then some people ask me, they'll say, "Are you taking requests?" I'm like, "Well," and I always say, "Well, it depends what it is. Like, what do you, you know, is it like what I'm playing now? Is it,
Yeah.
you know, is it like, so yeah,
Depends.
yeah, exactly.
But as far as the online class, I think you were saying you're shooting for January.
I think so. Yeah, I
Okay.
think I'm a procrastinator, but I'll be getting everything together for the seminar, and I think while doing that, I will at least get everything together like I
Do you
need
know
to.
like what platform you're going to put that on,
I
or
don't
how
know.
you're
There's
going
a
to go
couple
about that?
different. There's a couple different online. I can't think of the name right now. Like, it's not Shopify. I know that's not it, but it's something like that where you
Okay.
can put it on there, and then again, you pay. It's not going to be crazy. It's going to be
And then people like get the
and
link,
then you get the link and go on there, and then you kind of do it at your own pace.
cool.
And then I'm available for questions or at any point,
Yeah.
or like a weekly whatever. Like I can Zoom. I haven't come up with anything yet, but the idea
But
is
it's, but it's in the
for
works.
me to be able to
It's-
help.
Yeah.
People to do that because I feel like I am organized. I feel like it helps me find stuff fast, and I just kind of want to help other people.
Yeah.
So
So one of my questions on here kind of takes us somewhat away from it, but really it's still in the same spectrum. But is how important is it to have creativity as a DJ? And I kind of feel like as a DJ, like I see other DJs, like I'm always expecting more. Where the average person, they're just trying to have a good night.
yeah,
But I feel like that wow factor is really big when it comes to like creativity. Like, do you notice that with people, like where if you do wordplay or certain things and people just like, you can see the expression on their face or they come up and say
Yeah.
something to you?
yeah, and I think creativity is huge because at the end of the day, whether DJs want to admit it or not, we're all playing the same stuff.
Right.
Essentially. Like you go to a bar, like I play like McDin's every Friday, 21, whatever the demographic is, hopefully 21 to, whatever, 25, I don't know.
It's a younger crowd,
My
yeah.
point is that there's only so many songs that they can know, and I don't mean it by like, well, this person might know, like collectively, like this song is going to work for 75, not even work. These people are going to know
Right, by,
this
by
song.
their age, by what the radio's
Exactly.
playing, by what's
So-
being pushed on them,
So
and so
as far as
forth.
the creative aspect, it's like, I try to, again, like I said, when I have a remix, I only have a couple, but I try to find those remixes. I'm not trying to find stuff that other people don't have. I try to find stuff that I like, and a lot of times it is stuff that people don't have, and not trying to be. I've heard people talk about gatekeeping stuff, and people ask me for stuff. I don't mind sharing stuff, but at the same time, it's like, is that DJ also looking for stuff, or are they just, oh, that's cool, I want
Asking
that,
for, like, hands out,
yeah,
handouts,
like, and I don't
basically, yeah.
mind helping people, but it's like, I spent time to go find these cool different edits
R&D.
to make myself look different, or I'll make my own, so that's
It's even more
I'll make
time
my
and
own
effort.
that I have. So sometimes I am reluctant about handing them out,
Right.
but at the same time, it's like, I do want to stand out.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's what helps me stand out, like if I give it all to you, people are like, oh well, if I have the same songs, like they're not going to mix it the same as me. It's like, okay, I understand, I agree with you, but it's like still like we all playing the same song, like Journey, Don't Stop Believing, but what is your edit of Journey, Don't Stop Believing? Like, is it
Yeah.
a cool remix? Is it something? Is it an epic in? Like, everybody's kind of different, but like again, it's how are you going into that creatively? How are you mixing out of that with stems? Are you being creative that way? Like, or is everybody just playing it intro, outro? Like
Stems
I feel
is
like-
huge, and actually I
Oh,
didn't even
for
have
sure.
that on the agenda. But like, how do you feel like Stems has taken us or affected your
I
performance?
can't even. It sounds so. I can't remember mixing before. Like taking out the bait. Like that was it. Or when I would going back to the organization, I don't do it anymore. But I would still recommend it to people. I would put a loop, a 16 bar or 8 bar loop at the beginning and the end. So that way, at any point, I would have cue points. I could hit the save the loop, go into that beat for however long I want, and then pull up the acapellas that I was talking about that I have 10,000 of from back in the,
Right.
and just mix that. I used to do I used to start my sets like that. I would do a loop, and then a totally different song.
Yeah, so you'd have your own like intro and outro
and then
already
once it would get to
situated.
once it would get to the chorus, I'd let the loop go out on the first song that I started looping, and then once the chorus is out, now I'm into that song that I started with, and now we're good. But I used to do all that, and now I don't need. I can just.
Well, and your music
stems.
catalog doesn't have to be as diverse, because I remember there was a time where we had to stack up on instrumentals and acapellas. And when stems first came out, like, when you would cut out to just the acapella, like, it'd be a hit or miss. But I
Yeah.
know as the technology is getting better, the acapellas are becoming cleaner and cleaner, and
Yeah.
it's picking up more and more of the acapella.
Oh yeah,
To where it's like, you're at least getting 80, 100% of it.
and I haven't messed with it yet. It just they have it on the Rev 7 now, which I use all the time. Is the stem EQ where like you can take out, you take out the melody and the bass, and then you go, oh, like the vocals were on that, so you can slowly bring it back up, like on a not,
Yeah,
like
actually,
on
I saw the
EQ
cheat
knob.
how to do that.
Yeah,
To turn that on.
instead of just violently bringing it back in, like it left. But yeah, I mean, like the stems. I mean, think about it. Like even as far as organization, do you need an acapella in version now? Do you need an acapella out version now?
So much music that you
Do
just
you
kinda,
need to
like,
wait for
cut
the
out.
to get to the end of the 4-minute acapella out, or can you just stem it out on the first chorus, and then now you have an acapella out?
Yeah.
You know,
I think stems is like the coolest thing to hit us as DJs, because especially being open format, it's let me go so much further in different
Yeah.
directions when I want to.
yeah.
Because I know there are some open format DJs where they do open format, but you can go open format too much to a certain extent,
Sure.
to where it's like you're all over the place. But if you're trying to hop from a genre to another genre or take it to another place, it's a very good easy transition with that.
Yeah, and with the stems too, you think about it, you're bringing in the next song, and it's just a drum intro. Like technically, like it doesn't matter if it's on key or not until it gets to a melody or something in
Right.
there. Like so, you can do that, and it almost sounds like a completely different version of that song sometimes. So, yeah, it's definitely
Stems is definitely where it's
Yeah.
at.
for sure.
So I know earlier we talked about places you've been, the battles, your residencies. What would you say in your career was your favorite place to DJ, venue wise?
I still go back and say McDinton's in St. Pete. It was
Yeah.
it was
And
different.
why is it?
Cause it like I do McDinton's in Soho. I like it there. It's a college bar. That wasn't really a college bar. It was kind of all ages. So like I could just kind of go wherever. And it was one of those things where I would start at I played from 10 to 3, so it was 5 hours. Whereas like in Soho now I do 4 hours. And a lot of other gigs are 4 hours. It would just fly by. I would show up at like 9:15. It would be starting to fill up. There was no DJ before me. So again, it was one of those things where I'm setting up. People see me setting up.
Right.
So okay, so again, I'm not just gonna play a song. So I'll do something a little at the beginning, but it was just one of those, like how sometimes you have those nights where you can play whatever you want, and they're with you every. It was like
Every
that
step of the way.
Every time it was like that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's something different now. But it was one of those things where it was like almost every night it was like that. Sing along, whatever, sing along. I could go punk rock for 30 minutes. And they're with me every song, sing along,
Singing along is the best. When you have the whole place singing along to it, that's a whole nother like adrenaline rush in itself, because then that everyone's tuned in.
Yeah.
And then it also pulls everybody else in more, because people are having conversations. People nowadays are on their phone.
Yeah.
As time goes on, I feel like less and less people are actually out there dancing.
That just stopped.
So I think that's something where.
It went blue.
Yeah, let's take a pause here real quick. There we go. Talking about McDinton's, and having the crowd, having sing-alongs, about how great it is to have a sing-along crowd, because it pulls people in. And when there's your average everyday person that goes out, whether they're there to just have a good time, they're drinking, whatever, they're conversating with a friend, they're on their phone. Less and less people nowadays are dancing, is what I notice. So it's just to have a whole crowd sing along to a song is amazing.
Yeah.
Like that's a whole adrenaline rush in itself, that it's just like, okay, you guys are with me.
Yeah.
And then also I feel like when you start a gig, like when people see you setting up, like you said, and people are like, okay, DJ's about to go on, I kind of feel like at least even the first 10, 15 minutes I have to show off, or I have to prove myself. Like I have to get everyone's attention.
Like I said, you're not just gonna and then 4 minutes of a song, and then you just slowly mix in another song, and then you're 10 minutes in and you've played 2 3 songs. You're like, all right, like it's
Yeah.
boring for you. You know what I mean? Like as a DJ, like it's I don't want to just sit there and play a song and I want to
Right. Because then I get
get them
bored.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I have to be like on my A game to keep
Yeah.
me going for the whole night. So McDen's favorite place. What would you say is your favorite event you've ever done?
Um, I would say I think I did the Lightning. I did the in game for it was the Eastern Conference Stanley Cup Finals. So it was the series right before the Stanley Cup. And I haven't done a lot of those games, but the one game I did, it was literally like the clinching game. So they won.
Ooh.
They were going on to the Stanley Cup final, like the finals.
Yeah.
And so they're out there celebrating. And, I didn't even play that long, but I'm just standing up there, just taking in everything. So it's like the best seat in the house. You're just looking down.
I mean,
And
how does
was
that
cool.
feel like stress and pressure when you're doing in game?
Well, when I do the USF, it's a little different than when I did like that. But the USF stuff, that's up there because this past season, the men's basketball, they were phenomenal. So even from the beginning of the season, people still go to the games, but at the end of the season, they were selling out. So it's one of those things where like, say not much is going on in the game, and there's people talking, there's obviously crowd noise, there's like a short break, but just to, as cheesy as it sounds, to play something like Seven Nation Army, and then or Raymond James too, literally tens of thousands of people just start chanting or cheer like to what you're playing.
What you're playing.
And then or like the Rays, like when you're trying to do a rally, like you bring up like a big EDM hype, but like build it, and then you're watching the clock because you have to take it out at a certain time.
Yeah.
So you take it out, you've done your job, because you can't cause any more noise in the game, but the crowd is still going, and 5 seconds ago they were doing nothing. So it's just like you're kind of providing that push for them, even if it's the same song. Whoop, there it is. Like
Something.
it's still to like to see like that reaction from them is cool. And USF, like I'm more out in the open, people can see me, but like it doesn't even matter. Like, even when like you're in the Rays or Raymond James, like you can just look out and like they show people on the TV like jamming, and you're like, I'm playing, I'm playing that. Even my mom and dad went to the game once, and they're like something like I kept thinking like he's playing this music to everybody in here. It's just something like that. It's
I know
cool.
when I came and you for a Tampa Bay Rays game.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, come see me, and the whole time that's all I kept thinking. And I would see you up there, in the box. I'm just thinking to myself, like, he's controlling all this music right now and playing for this entire.
And don't get me
stadium.
wrong, it definitely is in my mind. Like at any point, like that's another thing as far as knowing your music. Like the stuff's got to be clean.
Right.
Like it's got like if there's one thing like I don't have a job anymore.
Right.
Like
and there's songs out there where it's labeled clean.
We
and
won't
it's
say
not...
any specific record pools, but some have been known to have notorious clean versions with a Little John put your effing hands up right before the drop.
The full send.
So you gotta check that stuff. But but playing those, it sounds, like whatever. But like playing the arenas in the state, like it's fun because it's like you're the one doing all of that.
It's
cool.
a good note to any DJ that's listening, though, that if your music says clean, definitely listen to it ahead of time, because I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
Not in that element, because that would be the worst way to find out.
Yes.
But in other spots where it's like, oh, that says clean, but it's not clean. Now with the Rays, I know there's DJing, and then there's programming, and there's like different scenarios when it comes to doing the music. I think we've talked about this before about the stress factor of like doing a Rays game or certain things where there's more pressure and there's a lot more involved than just one song to the next song.
Oh yeah.
And you even have a program and certain things that you use to utilize different tracks and things that you can hit on the fly for certain things.
I've done both, like for the Lightning, for instance, for the Lightning, the majority of the stuff I do for the Lightning is like pregame. So I'm out playing music while people are coming in. And they have that at the Race too. They have other DJs that play, the catwalk when you're walking in.
Right. Yeah.
And for USF, Jake Dela Cruz, he did, where they have Bucks Beach. He was out there last season, doing Bulls Bay, they call it, where
awesome.
People are coming in. So that's one aspect of, DJing at the games. You're outside while people are coming in. But then, to your point, they call it technically audio producer. So for the Rays, I'm backup. MC White, Mitch, he's been doing that. Ridiculous.
Yeah, shout out to him.
He is insane. But I've learned so much from him, and that was my into USF as well. But yeah, like the audio producer, so to speak, I'll use Serato, and like when I do USF, like a Yingling Center, I can bring my whole setup. So I am mixing live, pretty much at all time, and then pregame I'm mixing their songs. Then when people come in, I'm switching it up. But then once you get in the game, I have another program. It's called 7-Point Audio, and you are literally setting like songs in there. So that's the other thing that makes it a little easier to check that stuff. You have to put the songs physically in there and then cue them up. So I make sure I listen to each song so every song that's in that program, I don't worry about. Like the stuff in Serato that you download, it says clean. I might double check it, but when I bring something in, I listen to the whole thing.
Just to make sure.
So I'm bringing in, and it's like 50 buttons on a page, and as soon as you hit it, it plays where you queued it up.
And this is helpful for, I mean, like you were telling me, like per person that comes up to bat, they have their own like.
Yeah, they have a walk-up song.
They have a walk-up song.
So,
each person, tells you like.
They want it at 33 seconds, so like I have the button and I have them all lined up, in order. But then sometimes pinch hitting. What's his number? 80, 82. It's
and you have to be paying attention
you
the
really
entire
have to be
time.
attention. Oh yeah, for all
like
the
there's
sports.
no like taking a break. Like you can't just go to the bathroom and be like
And there's a different. The people they're playing basketball. All right, we hit a three. Boom, boom, boom. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And then the other team hits a three, and then we call timeout because now they're on a roll. All right, what do you play? You don't want to hype them up. But you're not playing sad music,
right?
So you got to have different things.
And you have to
for different
be good
scenarios.
sportsman conduct. Like you can't go too far, like a dig.
You got to really pay attention, and you got to and then you have the all the elements for the breaks. The kiss cans, the dance can. And again there's only so many songs that have kiss in it, so you got to try to be creative with that. You got to try to be creative with when people are running or doing a game. Like there's only so many songs like that. So that's where the creativity comes in.
Yeah.
We're trying to come up with different things to fit, whatever we're doing, whatever kind of cam we're doing at the break. Or there's, a war veteran, they're honoring him. Like, you got to pay, what are you going to play behind him? Like, they have uplifting instrumental type music that you would play for him. But then if they're doing a Burger King ad, it's just a generic instrumental background of whatever, pop song, whatever. But you don't want lyrics to go over them. And in that program that I use for sports, there's no stems as much as I wish there was. So sometimes I will use Serato, and I'll be playing the song. And then if I know the announcer's about to go, or Greg Wolf, shout out Greg Wolf, if he's about to talk in game, I just hit the button and it takes out the vocals.
Easy peasy.
So I always normally am running Serato at the same time if I have the space.
Yeah.
And I literally always have at least a loop of something.
Which all this is wild to me because like just for me DJing on Serato alone is enough.
Yeah.
So then you have all these other things that are going on, and sometimes you have people in your ear, like the
whole
producer.
time. Yeah. Like,
that's telling you, like leading you on.
We're going to break, or like, hey, we're cutting to this video in 4 seconds. So a lot of times that's something I've been doing more lately when I am using Serato versus the other program is if I know, like say we're in, like I do the race. I don't do that much, but when I do it, like say we're in the middle of like a break for the inning, and I know we're about to go to their batter, so I'm not doing walk-up music because it's their guy.
Yeah.
But they're like, all right, like we're gonna announce him in 10 seconds. So what I'll do is I'll be playing like a song. They're showing people dancing to it around, whatever, and then I'll take out the melody and bass, right? So I just have the vocals and the drums, and then they're like 5, 4. I take out the drums, just the vocal. 3, 2, echo out. 1, and then they're up to bat. And like numerous times, people like on the mic go like, that was cool. Like it's just. It's all there. Like it's not anything I did special, but the tools are there, at least in Serato, to do something like that. So I try to, do that when I can, just to make it seem like a little bit more, other than just a fade out or something. But
I mean, you definitely have diversity with all the things that you've done. It puts you more as a wholesome DJ to where you're a whole package. You could be utilized in any type of sporting event, party. I mean, you can really go anywhere and not really have that pressure of like, can I do this? Am I going to be okay? Do I have the music for it?
I always question it every time, but yes.
Well, I mean, that's where I think overthinking plays out. Like.
What about But I mean, no, I appreciate that. And the sports thing is not. It wasn't even really something not that I didn't want it. I wasn't trying to. I started with the Atlanta Braves spring training when I lived down south. I just simply said, if you guys ever need someone, like, yeah, we do need someone. So I started doing that. Um, when I first did the Braves, man, they played the Astros, and I trolled them so hard. Someone took a video. I played. I mean, it wasn't. Again, there's only so many songs, so like they stole stuff. So it was like knock 3 times, like you're knocking on the trash. So I like banging on the trash can from Doug. I did.
Oh
I played that.
wow.
I played. So someone took a video of me playing "I Saw the Sign," which the most generic one of all of them that they caught, but whatever. And that got on Barstool Sports. It got like 3 million views. It's there somewhere from like, again, it was right around COVID.
That's neat.
But again, something like that. And something I will say is that, like, nothing against them, but like when I started that sports gig, and I feel like a lot of, I don't want to say older DJs, but DJs that have been in it for a while, I feel like they'll tell new people, and they also practice this. And what it is they won't take a gig that they think might be not beneath them, but like maybe isn't paying quite enough. But like that gig, I was making X amount of dollars an hour, which wasn't the great at the Braves, And again, nothing against them. That was the start. That was the starting pay, but that's what got me in the door. And then I started doing the sports stuff, and then an opportunity at USF. So now I'm at USF. Now I'm doing the light. You know what I mean? Like that wouldn't have happened if I was like, no, that's not. That's not enough money for me to even try that.
Right.
I feel like people did. That was like just in general. People don't see opportunities sometimes.
Sometimes you can't go through that door unless you pick that certain gig.
They turn their nose up at. Oh, I don't want to take that for $250 because whatever. It's like, all right, well then sit at your house on a Wednesday and not.
Yeah, you're doing that
not
for
see
forever.
all these other ones down the road that might be coming from this gig that you don't want.
Right, but yeah, definitely. What I've noticed is taking certain gigs. It really depends on where you see yourself next, and that's actually the question I have for you. But it's kind of like where you see yourself going on this path of DJing, because if you want to get here, there are a lot of companies and gatekeepers that run a lot of the the venues, the sporting events, the teams, everything, to where you do just like any job, like you have to start at the bottom and work your way up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like in corporate, America. Like you have to start at the bottom. You have to start in the mailroom. You have to work your way up if you are trying to get the CEO.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes experience. But you got to take some of those gigs to get to that point.
Yeah.
And people will be kind of very, especially older DJs. But you notice that some of the older DJs that say this, some of the veteran DJs, are still doing the same thing over and over again for the past 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
Which I don't knock anyone, because basically it's down to each and every person's happiness. If you're doing what you're doing and it makes you happy, you won.
Sure. And maybe they've done it enough times where they've taken that gig and it didn't pan out for them. So they're just, like, listen, I've done that I don't know how many times and I've never got anything. Fair enough. But, I've done a few of those things and they've panned out. So
yeah.
I still, to this day, if it seems somewhat lucrative, then I'll try it. If not, hopefully those people had a good time when I played for whatever it was, then move on. I mean, it is what it is.
So that does lead into, where do you see yourself as a DJ coming up next? Like where do you have any goals or any like things you want to try and achieve?
I guess now the goal would be, because I didn't even know this was possible, would be to DJ at the Olympics. I didn't even know you could do that until this year.
This was mentioned to me yesterday. I was in a meeting and someone's like, I was watching the breaking portion of the Olympics, which, everyone knows about what's been going on, and unfortunately they're not carrying it on for 2028 in LA.
Yeah.
Which is very unfortunate. But they're like, they had DJs and they're like,
yeah.
That should have been a goal of yours. I'm like, well, yeah, I never even thought that was even possible for me when I was growing up. But even when I started DJing, like my goal was to become DMC World Champion.
Sure, yeah.
Which isn't right now a goal of mine, but like that was like the top of the top, like the tier that you wanted to achieve to.
Yeah.
But now we all have our different goals and things like that. Like I would love to get in sporting events and certain things.
Well, I think having done the sports stuff, I mean, I was joking, but like I really think, like something like the Olympics. I mean, how many sports are there? And like you're watching volleyball, someone's playing that music.
Yeah.
Someone's playing music for almost every event that's there.
Right.
So that would be cool to do. Obviously I probably only think about that every 4 years, that's a goal, is to do, some of the Olympics. I would like to travel more, to go to these places. Like I have some guys that I know in Pittsburgh. I've DJed in Pittsburgh. I did at a conference in Vegas, in Chicago now. We talked about, like having my DJ sets, like, I look at it two different ways as far as like not playing the same set, so to speak, but every Friday night at McDitton's, there's a difference between always playing, Yeah, Usher into Freak League. Like the beats are the same, but there's no real rhyme or reason to doing that. But I feel like sometimes, like the bartenders or whoever, or even the people that come there, they're like, oh, they know what's coming up next. My biggest thing is like coming up with these wordplays and stuff like that. Like I feel like they're a little more creative than like just doing song A and a song B. But again, like every week you can't do that. So like it's cool to go to like there's a place in Sarasota. I hadn't been in a while, Gator Club. I'm there now like once a month now. But going back there the first time like a month or so ago, and you know what? Screw it. I'll do all these word plays that I do here and there like McDin's. I don't always do like these three beautiful, beautiful. They all are beautiful in it. But like I did everything, and they're like, oh, it's so like imagine
that
doing
reaction.
that.
Yeah.
Not that I would do the same set at like every city I went to, but like having that reaction, because that would get bored. I would get bored with that.
Right.
But at least doing like something where like a new place is like, oh, I never heard that stuff. That would be cool. So
yeah, like
not
taking
even,
the show on
towns.
the road.
Yeah,
and they
even
never
other
heard of that
venues,
stuff.
like something like that, where they haven't doing stuff like that I've spent time to come up with.
It's
Like,
totally different than a
where-
weekly residency where you're
Yeah.
there every week and then like the staff is listening to you,
Yeah.
like the owner's there and they're always like, this guy's playing the same music over and over
We
again.
know what's coming
exactly
next.
what's
Yeah.
coming next, which I've heard from people like in management in certain places where they're like, we know where this DJ is going to
Yeah.
go.